How effective is club, knife, and gun training? Well, it's going to depend on a couple of things, as it always does. Remember, everything that we learn in the martial arts and everything that I talk about in this channel is based on, the level of the person that is being attacked. For instance, if you take a basic self-defense class, that basic self-defense class should teach you self-defense, self-preservation, get away, run over them, do whatever. If you take a class where you're trying to learn how to beat somebody up, well, then you are going to be learning sports, cardiovascular, fitness, things like that. If you take a class where you're trying to beat somebody up and disarm them at the same time, sometimes that's possible. That's typically against an idiot. Okay, and I don't mean you, I mean the person that you're fighting against has to be somewhat dippy in order to take a weapon away from them. Okay, so here's what I mean. We always kind of flatter ourselves, or at least I do, that whenever I think about defending myself, I always think about, well, I'm going to be fighting this top tier, best person, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm always preparing for like some monster that is unreal. And whether that's in my head, I'm fighting, the top UFC champion at the gas station because he wanted to rob me, or that I'm in a knife fight with somebody who's like a great Filipino martial artist, or some Spetsnaz trained whatever, that's really probably not going to happen to you. And if you're in that kind of a situation, you probably get trained by some military organization to go, I don't know, overthrow governments or something. So a lot of people who have a knife are going to brandish the knife at you like this. They're going to try and cut and stab and do whatever else, right? They're going to have it right out there. They're going to be threatening you with it. If somebody threatens you with a weapon, why do they do it? Most of the time, when somebody threatens you with a weapon, it's because they are afraid of what might happen to them if they didn't have the weapon. It's going to be easier to take what you have if you're afraid, right? Makes sense. That's the way it works. So that's why they have a weapon. Now, if you get somebody who has a weapon in close to them, or if you have somebody that's got some crazy underhanded grip, or you get somebody that fights in some way like this or that, chances are you're not going to be getting in a knife fight with that person. Somebody that is very skilled with a knife doesn't come up and start a knife fight with you. They come up behind you, stab you. They walk up to you and stab you. They walk up to you and stab and stab and stab and stab, and it's just over. While you're trying to take the knife and hold on to them, they're just pulling it back and pulling it back. Okay? In a lot of Filipino martial arts, for instance, they'll tell you that when you go to block, they like it because it's like a roast chicken attacking them. When they come at them, you just take another bite and take another bite. So while you're blocking, they're going to come across, cut, stab. You block with the other hand. They cut, cross, stab. They'll grab whatever you hand to them, and they'll keep stabbing and stabbing and cutting and stabbing. So that's the equivalent of if somebody came up and tried to mug you, and they took some boxing stance, or they took some wrestling UFC type stance. A lot of muggers and stuff aren't professionally trained fighters. A lot of muggers and stuff aren't professional knife fighters, okay? So the things that you learn in the average martial arts class, for example, how to block, parry, and try and disarm somebody, they're more realistic to people that might try and attack you that are thugs, okay? What do we talk about in this class, or on my videos a lot, what we talk about in my classes, I should say, is disbalancing the opponent. So if somebody's got a knife, for one thing, don't go over to them. It's like trying to go over and pet a rattlesnake. It's just going to bite you as you come over there. So you need to make distance. The person keeps coming at you, hopefully you get away from them. You throw stuff at them. You get stuff in their way. You take off running. Now, if they're faster than you, you're not going to outrun them. But if you go and try and take a knife, not so much. But a frustrated person's going to what? They're going to start cutting big and stabbing big and doing all that kind of stuff. That gives you some chance of possibly disarming them. But somebody that's cool and calm and has a knife and slowly comes at you like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers, you're not just going to take a knife from them, okay? So, again, if you were out on the street and you were empty-handed, some guy comes up, starts a fight with you, and then they put their hands out and they start wailing at you big like that. Most of your martial arts training, regardless of the style you're in, is going to totally work against that guy because he's afraid, has no skill, and he's looking for a lucky shot. But if a guy looks like he can just tag, you know, you're probably going to go down. So long story short, you might disarm somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. You won't likely disarm somebody who does know what they're doing. Now, what you can do to kind of play out this scenario, if you want to train and you don't want to listen to me, is something I will do sometimes, is I'll go by, you know, like kids' sidewalk chalk, and then I'll just let the students put the chalk in their hand, and the one person tries to cut them and the other person tries to defend. So we'll start out with some training where the guy does a big old slash or a big old cut, and the students can try and come over, disarm the knife, and do all that. And then we'll come to a point where I'll say, okay, go to stab, and then if the person doesn't successfully disarm, quickly pull back and stab again and slash. You'll be surprised how many chalk marks you're going to get on you. Now, even at that, even if you take the chalk away, you're probably still going to get chalked a little bit. Because as we always say, you get in a gunfight, expect to get shot. You get in a knife fight, expect to get stabbed. You get in a fist fight, expect to get punched. So don't fight with people with knives if you can at all help it. Your style of martial arts, empty-handed, does not compare to a knife, a bat, a gun, whatever. But again, it's possible with somebody untrained. And even if they are trained and you have no other choice, yeah, you might go for it. But keep training, keep your mind open, keep your eyes open. Start thinking about self-defense in a way of, who's this person coming towards me? Do they have something behind their hand? Where are their hands? There's a lot of steps before you ever try and have to worry about disarming and John Wicking somebody. Anyway, get the proper training. Don't run out and try and knife fight with people. Springfield Karate and Fitness. You can come train with us. Otherwise, find yourself a good teacher, keep on the path, and stay safe. Thank you.